Hello, welcome back. We are officially in our QSys demo / training. Again, Scott Klarchuk from QSC Systems.
How you doing?
I'm Paco Aguilar. I'm with ProTech Marketing, and I'm just going to let Scott kind of kick things off. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post them on Facebook. We'll be watching those if we can answer those. And then we've got a couple people here in the audience today. If you guys have questions, please jump in, ask. Let's get things answered. So with that said, Scott, it's all you.
Okay, so one of the things we're going to do today is we're going to talk about some of the new products at QSC. So we've got our video cameras here. I don't know if you've seen them before, and we'll briefly touch on some of that. We've got our I/O bridge here, our conference bridge, so that you can actually take into a conference with it. And another thing that we've got here is our new 4.7 touchscreen, and we'll go through that. And then after we go through the new products, we're going to go into some of the new things that QSC can do. If all of you want, if your only goal is to actually take and use Q-Sys as a control system. How's that sound, Paco?
I think that's great.
Okay, so if we're taking a look at the Q-Sys designer here, one of the things that we have over here are our new PTZ cameras, and we've got two versions of them. We've got a 12x72 and a 20x60. So what that means is that the zoom is 12 times zoom, and it's a 72-inch angle or wide angle camera, and then the other one is a 20x60, 20% zoom by 60% angle. And I've got the one that we've got right here is the 20x60, or actually we've got the other one, wrong one. We've got 12x72, and I can open that up. Now, one of the things that is really cool about what you're doing is that the camera that you're watching today is actually a QSC camera. It's sitting behind me over here, and Paco is actually controlling it with his phone.
That's exactly right.
So there's another system here, Performance Audio, and what you're watching on web streaming and everything is going through the exact same camera that we are demoing you today. And a lot of the product, they've got a Core 110 and everything else in this system, so what you're seeing is actually the same stuff that we're using in live to actually broadcast all this.
So Performance did, and it's going to be tough for you to see. I just basically have a little GUI here on my phone, even if those of you guys are in here. Was created yesterday, actually. Last week I think Jake created this for me, and it's just controlling presets for the camera, and it makes it incredibly simple. So, for example, if we want to do just a TV look here, we're going to go ahead and go right into the TV. I can give you just a shot of that TV right there. So if you want to read something, see something on that, and then I'll go right back out to just Scott and I, and it gives us the control that we need right here.
So we're also the video techs here today too.
Exactly. Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
So let's go ahead and take a look at the software for this camera. So we've got inside here, if you take a look inside Q-Sys itself, what we have is that you bring the camera in just as you would everything else. So if you're going to bring in, for example, the core, or you're going to bring in a soft phone, or you're going to bring in any of our TSCs or amplifiers, you bring the camera in the exact same way. And then you say which model it is, and you push it to the core. And then from a wiring point of view, here's how you're going to wire it, is that you wire it, let's go ahead and go in with a little bit on this. That's a little better. So what happens is your cameras are over here on the left-hand side, and then you go to a video router over here, and then you've got your outputs, and your outputs could be the video bridge that we have here, or it even could be the core. Okay? So if we open up the camera here, you've got a whole bunch of different controls. You've got pan tilt controls, you've got coordinate controls. You can say whether it's ceiling mounted or not, auto focusing. One of the really nice features on here is there's a home button, so we can hit where we want the home. And the home right now, believe it or not, is actually pointed up at the ceiling at the Shure microphone. We couldn't find any pictures in this room, so we just decided to do that. The other thing is that there is a really cool privacy mode on here. So when we were doing a bunch of voice of the customers, one of the things that we found is that people like judges would actually take and put a box over the camera, or they would grab it and turn it around, and then you'd have to recalibrate the camera in order to use it. Well, what we found out is that why don't we automate that? So if you hit the privacy mode, you can actually say where the camera goes to. And it would actually turn around. So in this case, it would be against the wall, because this would be the back of the wall right here, and that's where your camera would be. Or you can have it go somewhere else. You could actually say that, you know, you want it to point somewhere else, and you could save it as that. And you put up a nice little logo, and our graphics department made a nice little logo for me that basically says you can't see what's going on. And then when you're done, when you undo it, it goes back to where it was. So in this case, it goes back to the Shure microphone. There's a whole bunch of imaging stats on here, so you can play with the imaging, and then there is some statistics on what it's broadcasting. So this particular camera, what's really cool about it is that it is PoE, and the video is going over the same cable too. So even though there is SDI and HDMI on the back of this, which you can also stream to in real time at the same time, what you've got is motion JPEG that's going over this, and once it's on the network, you can pick it off anywhere. Okay? The other parts that go along with the camera part is that we've got a video router over here, and just like any other thing, you can actually put little thumbnail JPEGs on there of what's going on. And then we've also got the video bridge. And the video bridge is this particular piece right here, and this is what you can use to plug into a laptop so that you could actually see what was coming over this. So if I wanted to look at the picture of this, and I'm running Parallels on my Mac, oh, that shrunk down. Now let's escape out of it and reopen it. So it's going to go grab that, and it's going to grab it as a 1080p. Or it could also downgrade it to something else that you could use for like Skype or Blue Jeans or anything else that you're using. And we could make a video call out of it now. Okay? Getting back to the Q-Sys side. So the video bridge, you can put multiple cameras on, and as you can see, there's a thumbnail of what you can use to control it. Now I'm going to have Paco go over on our TSC7, which is sitting next to him, and you can see that he's got the controls for this camera that's sitting in front. And you can go ahead and
zoom in on that real quick. Yep. Let that catch up.
So if you have multiple cameras on here, this will control all of them as you switch back and forth. So whatever one is live, that will actually control that camera.
Make some movements here. Let's actually zoom out.
Yeah, just hold it down. Look at that handsome devil.
Absolutely.
So there's the same thumbnail that you're seeing that's sitting on there. And he could do it on our new 4.7 touch panel too.
This is a nice little screen there. That guy right there. Yeah, it's quite nice. But yeah, same thing. Let's come back down this way. Swing it back around this way. Oh, maybe I gotta go the other way. There we go, I'm already locked in all that way. Just what you wanted to see in the morning.
Yourself, right?
Exactly.
Now, one of the really cool features of this new touchscreen is that it can be used in landscape or portrait mode. So we could actually do something where it is up and down, or we can do it sideways. And one of the nice things is this one here actually fits in a single gang box, as you can see. And then the other thing is that there's controls inside Q-Sys, so if your installer installs it upside down, it can be quickly rectified. So we know that that happens
really
on job sites.
Tear the whole thing out and redo it. You don't have to.
Make it work. Okay. So, any other new products you want to talk about, or fine with that?
What can we allude to? Is there anything new on the horizon? Nothing.
Not right now. Okay.
I think we've covered all of new products. Let's maybe talk about the control side of it.
Okay.
What can Q-Sys do as far as control? I mean, it's not just an audio DSP. So let's talk about maybe some control work and what it can handle there.
Sounds good. So one of the things that we did is that because Q-Sys has the ability to do multiple protocols, so we can talk TCP, UDP, RS-232, as well as contact closure. You can either control us or we can control them. It's bidirectional and it's completely up to you. So this morning when I walked in here, we were looking at all of the theater lights that were sitting in here, and the big question was, hey, how can we control those? So they were nice enough to bring us up a robotic light, and it's actually sitting behind Paco over there. And we quickly put together a demo that'll actually make this work. So what happens is that there is a Lua module, that's the scripting language that we use inside the cores. And the Lua module actually takes and creates an ArtNet protocol. And out of the core, we send ArtNet over TCP up to a receiver up there that turns it into DMX512, and then after that, we turn it into a real lighting system. So the first thing I can do is, if we look across the top of this screen, the robotic light we've got up there, we've got dimmer on the first channel. The second one is dim fine. We've got strobe, a color wheel, a gobo, some pans, some fine pans, that kind of stuff that you would see on all these fixtures. And it's just basically, we've taken all these and put the control into a snapshot controller. So if I go in here, I can actually load the first snapshot, and as you can see, it brings light on and it turns it onto the table. And I can go through some of these other things, like I can do colors, if that's what I want to do. I can do a snapshot that does color control, but if I want to control the wheel, I can still get up here and control the wheel any other way I could, because I'm sending out, 256 DMX or 255 because of the way electronics work. I can control the gobos, so if I want to bring up a gobo, there's a gobo that's sitting on the table. I could add some color to that if I wanted to. The next thing is that, different gobos, and then I can also handle all of the pan and tilt. And play with how the fixture itself actually works.
Seems to have a really good response. There's no real lag or delay in any of that. It's like right on it, so the control seems to work really well.
Yeah, so the nice thing is that it's sending this out to the same protocol standards that ArtNet has, and it's sending it over gigabit Ethernet right now. So it gets there really fast, and then the light can process it, do what it has to do.
How many? Does it just handle one universe? Or multiple universes? Like,
it depends on what your system is. So you could set it up so that you could send out multiple universes if you wanted to. You have to have an interpreter box at the other end, so that's really what your...
Yeah, node at the other end, okay.
Yeah.
Any recommendations? Anything that might work well with Q-Sys?
I'm not sure what box they gave us up there.
I think that one is it's an.
I think that's just an elation.
I think it's an elation box. Yeah. Yeah, that one's an elation box.
Yeah, so
I think anybody's node, and it's going to go from ArcNet to DMX is going to work, so that's good. I was just wondering,
Right.
that. So basically, no, unless the core can't handle it after a certain amount of universes, right?
well, I'm sure at some point it's going to run out of
Oh yeah.
Processing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I haven't.
but that's-
I haven't tried to do like a major show with it, and I'm not
But that's
sure
not
I
the.
would.
My point is a conference room like this or something
Correct.
small.
Yep.
We could do.
Yep.
We can combine the Q-Sys to run your sound and our lighting together.
Absolutely.
Make it very simple.
Absolutely.
Only have one processor.
Yep. So Scott's actually got. Can we jump into your other template that you have on there that you showed us this morning on just control?
Yes, let's go ahead and do that. So, a really good one that would be just control. We actually made a system that you could order coffee. I know it sounds crazy, but we did it. It's like, well, why not? So here's the background code for this. So as you can see as we scroll through here, there is no audio in here. There's nothing, there's not even a background audio player. This is completely just taking and doing a coffee ordering system. So I'm going to push this to the core. Now, we use this at a lot of trade shows, and what happens is that our demo booths, like at the trade shows, we will have upstairs meeting rooms, and we'll have downstairs meeting rooms. And we will put a TSC7 at the table of every one of these. So when you're sitting there talking to whoever you want, if you want to order a coffee, we can order a coffee. And then we also give the ability for people that came to the show to walk up and say, hey, I'd like to have a coffee too. And we use it as a way to gather email addresses so that we can send them information after the show.
That'd be nice to have your own barista in your office and exactly have something delivered to you right away.
Let's see, did I grab the right one?
But it gives you the example you're going to see is the power of the control that Q-Sys has. It's not just an audio DSP. To be able to control everything, or most everything, in one box. And we're on the Core 110, so we're not on the largest one. So keep that in mind. The Core 110F that can handle 99.9% of everything that's out there. So.
Need to make a couple of modifications to this, but it's pretty easy to do. So I want to be able to control one of the tables over there, so I'm going to go in and change the inventory name. Let's see, it needs to be high table.
So along the lines of control, something else that was brought to my attention, you may, and some of you may already know this, Randy, I know you do. There's a local school here that one of the integrators here, specifically Performance Audio, wrote a script for a dB meter to show up on the scoreboard. So gives you an idea of what Q-Sys can do as well as on the control side. So what happens is they've got a series of microphones that are placed throughout the stadium, and when it's time to get the crowd loud, everybody get it, they pop this real-time dB meter up on the screen, and it takes the readings and produces what every fan wants to see, is how loud and obnoxious they can be. So gives you another example of control. So. There we go.
There we go. We'll start bringing it up. So here's what we give the barista, and there's a couple of different areas that they can look at this. So these are what the baristas get, and then the other one that we give is, let's see, scroll up, scroll down, where'd it go? We take a 48-inch touchscreen and we set it up so that people can come up and actually order their own coffee. And then, did your touch panel come up? Nope, it's still saying offline.
It's still saying offline, yeah.
High table.
Any questions so far from anybody? Nothing yet? Jarrett, any questions from you?
What if I want to do some more in-depth control things, but I'm not super good with Lua scripting? Is there a way to get any help with that kind of stuff? Or
interestingly enough, QSC actually did its first Lua class on Wednesday. I actually taught it. It was down in Southern California. It was after a level 2 class that we did. There's also a whole bunch of different plugins, and we'll sidetrack on this, and I'll open up a new design and we'll take a look at all the different plugins.
Is that something is the Lua class going to be like separate from level 2? Is it going to be in connection with level 2? Is it something somebody can actually register and or come do with QSC?
We're really not sure yet.
Okay.
Our hope is that we could actually do it separately.
Okay.
When we did the class, one of the things we realized is that 90% of it can be done without cores.
Sure.
So at that point, we could put a whole bunch of Ethernet switches under our arm. We could actually fly out
right.
anywhere and do the class, which would make it real easy.
Class, and is it class meaning as in certification? People are going to be certified, or is there a way to? How's that going to work? What's the end result with it?
Well, our ultimate goal is that we want to teach the class,
okay.
and there's still a lot of unknowns because, and the reason they're unknowns, we haven't done this before. Right. So this is new. We were just getting into the Lua world. Okay. So things that have been talked about is, should it be part of level 2 and then taught after level 2? Should they be standalone where we can take them anywhere and someone else could do these classes? Should they be, should you get CTS credits for it? If the one that we taught is about an 8-hour class, right? So at the end of that, you could get a couple of CTS credits for going.
So there is some type of accreditation or something towards the end of it. We're just not quite sure where it's going to go to what extent then.
Right.
Okay.
So let's get back to his answer. There's a lot of things in Q-Sys that we have already made modules for. And the biggest thing is contacting us to see what we have. So Adlona, we have an Adlona module. So what this will do is this will talk to a 16 by 16M. And when you turn it on, it gives you the ability to handle all the input and output sources here, and you don't have to write any scripts for it. Another one would be, interestingly, we talked about lighting, but as you know, lighting for a building like this is usually Lutron or something else. It's not DMX 512. So we've got other modules in there that do like the Lutron graphic eye. And you can use this in conference rooms or board rooms or something like that, or schools where that's what you want to do is play with the lighting system. Some more things that we have done. Let's see, what do I have? Let's go into some of the ones that are actually stock now. So Aterotech, we actually have some stock Aterotech modules. And these are actually already in the code. So when you take and download Q-Sys Designer, they're already there. So if you're using any of these Aterotechs, they're already in there. Or Clock Audio, we have one for Clock Audio in there. And Shure Brothers, there's one in there for the Microflex wireless. So you can already use these, and there's a whole bunch of other ones that are written. We're in the process of trying to actually get all these on some kind of website where you could go download them, or you could, if you're Q-Sys level 1 or 2 certified, you could go out and get all those. And then besides all the logic stuff in there, the last one is that you could always just, in a lot of cases, under the control side, there is what's called, let's see, where is it at? There is our command buttons, and you can go in here, and through command buttons you can actually put in something that is either RS-232, TCP, or UDP and send them out. So you just go to the manufacturer, get what the control strings are, and usually these are for things like turn a TV on or turn a projector on. You can turn that on, turn it off. However, we do have a control for like PJ links or JP link that you could actually take and do that too. So let's see if I can get the coffee bar working again. I'm not sure where I messed up on it. I got the wrong one?
Yes.
Okay, now we'll push this.
Updating the screens, it looks like.
It's a good sign.
Yep.
And that's actually one of the nice things about Q-Sys is it's so easy to edit.
Oh, there we go. Much better.
Okay,
Much better.
and let me bring up the other two screens.
Nice. Thank you, Jake, for the video switching. My lack of video switching skills. It's a good thing Jake's following along with us there.
So if we're upstairs and we're talking to people and we say, hey, would you like a coffee? And they go, sure, let's have a coffee, and we can take and order a latte, and maybe somebody else wants, a cappuccino, and we'll add a couple of cappuccinos. Well, actually, I want one, not two. And then someone wants some tea, and we'll say, okay, let's go ahead and submit our order. If you see up here, they came up, and this is what the barista's seeing. So they're saying it came from one of the controllers that was upstairs, and it was high table number 2, and this is what they want. And then in the meantime, the barista makes everything, and then when she's ready, it basically takes and says that they're ready for pickup. And over time they'll disappear, and then as they pick them up, they disappear off the system. Now, if somebody else wants to come up, they can go up to our kiosk and they're going to say, look, I want a coffee. And then they can go over and say, I'll take a cafe latte. And we need to know a name, so I'll go in here and put my name in. And, I hit cancel. This would be a lot easier if I had a touch screen. Enter. And then we want someone's email address. So I'm going to enter mine, and when I hit enter on this, it comes up, and as you can see that, you know, it was ordered downstairs, and then when it's ready, you know, it'll say, okay, your cappuccino is ready, go head upstairs and actually get it. So this is just the overall power of Q-Sys. And the idea is that, you know, we're not saying that we're, you know, a 100% control system, but we can do a lot more than just, you know, audio. So if you're just thinking of us as a DSP, we're more than a DSP system. Okay.
I think that'll probably wrap up this session for today. Scott, thank you. Thank you for those of you that came. Feel free to send questions. Actually, as we shut off, we won't be able to do questions, and I apologize for that. We are, however, going to do a 4 to 5 on live on Facebook as well. We actually had a really good following here, and I think it'll do us justice to do another session from 4 to 5. So if you're just joining us and want to see the full thing, the full session, come back again from 4 to 5. It's being linked to several other sites at the moment so that it'll be available. If you would like to come down in person, please come down, come check it out. If you have more in-depth questions, come down. We'd be more than happy to run you through whatever else we have here. We'll be here for the rest of the day through 5 o'clock. With that said, thank you for watching.